What are some common pitfalls in manufacturing?
Well, for one, just to generalize it, I think back to the basics, the same pitfalls for manufacturing as any other company around enterprise IT. A lot of the incidents that we've seen where things have propagated into the shop floor and affected, the OT environments and things like that, often had to make it through many layers of enterprise IT first. So maybe it was a phish or an email, or they got in, some way through the enterprise IT and then made their way over. But in cases where we see that work is where you have basic network segmentation, like the blood-brain barrier between, your shop operations and enterprise IT. And these are some basic fundamental things that if you get those right, you're probably going to protect, a lot of the shop floor stuff. And from an incident impact perspective, having a good, recovery plan from an operations perspective. I mean, even if enterprise, IT and email and everything goes out, do you still have the ability to take orders and distribute and get the shop moving, when things are down? Because, when you are down, it's not, even if you pay the ransom and, this is one of the big, falsehoods that people think. I buy the encryption key and I pay the ransom, and now, you just flip the switch and the lights turn back on. That's not the case because, the software, for one, the bad guys spend a lot more time and investment figuring out how to break in and cause the harm. They don't actually spend a lot of investment, like making sure that when they give you the key, it's going to work right. So the keys don't always work right, but if you get an encryption key, it takes a lot of computer processing time to go and decrypt all of that data. So you could be out for weeks still, even if you have the recovery key. So you have to plan on weeks. And that's one of those items.
That helps with the ROI calculation.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, I think that ultimately that's, number one, have a plan, right? And I think that's where a lot of companies, it's like, well, it won't happen to me, so I don't make a plan, right? It's like, well, if it does happen to you, you better have a plan because you don't want to be figuring it out in the moment. But second of all, then you got to practice that plan.
Yep.
And you got to practice like you're going to play, right? Or it's going to be ineffective. And so ultimately, that means kind of thinking through not just like, hey, how's the security team going to respond to this? How is the business going to respond if something like this happens? So I mean, we like at our company, we run exercises where it's like, if say all the point of sale systems are down, we treat our point of sale systems almost like a manufacturing floor, right? Because I mean, we don't open email on it, we don't browse the internet on our point of sale system. It's literally there for one thing: ringing up customers and customer experience. So how do you protect that and how do you recover that if that goes down? Do you know how long it would take you to recover your fleet? Every warehouse, like, do you have any idea what it is? And you know what? Maybe like, don't let perfection be the enemy of good enough. Like, get started, figure it out, come up with a plan and practice that plan, practice scenarios all the way through leadership, how you're going to do communications. If your shop floor is down, what are you doing with your workers that are standing around? They can't do anything. Everything's off. That's not the cybersecurity people aren't figuring that out. That's a business problem, right? Have you thought of this, right? So those are the kinds of things you need to practice.
Another common item that we see a lot, manufacturing wise, is there's a lot of third-party systems out on the shop. It's the control systems, the greasy machine in the box next to the CNC machine that's running the machines, and those systems are protected. Don't touch them. Make sure they keep running because that's important. But often those are the systems that your company probably does not have good visibility to because it's probably managed by a vendor. They're often legacy systems that have not been updated. They're out of date. They're on old operating systems. They're not patched. And the key there is just knowing what those systems are, having a good line of sight to the to the vendors that manage those, and try to contain those as much as possible. Usually those machines really do not need access to the internet, or what limited access they need, maybe even back into the enterprise IT, is very limited. So you can contain those systems and isolate them so they are not exposed, because often those systems are not kept up to date with the rest of the company, and they're managed by somebody else.